And you guys, everyone who jumps on when they jump on. Okay, so hey guys, happy Tuesday. I don't know if you guys know this, but it's September next week. Like, what just happened to this year? So that's crazy. I hope you guys are enjoying the Team Cup and the size dancing. I know Amy is crushing that program. So anyways, we have a guest speaker tonight, so I don't want to waste any time. I want to let her take over. She's going to be talking to you about just a mindset shift and helping you focus with your business and the 3 vital behaviors. Her name is Brianne Watzel. I met her on the wall, where when you're 5-star, we get to kind of chat with each other and share ideas and laugh at lots of fun stuff with Beachbody. And we get to, just get ideas and share. And so we decided to speak on calls with each other and help each other's teams out. So she signed up January 2013. She is a 5-star elite coach, and she is a Success Club 10 legend for 30 months now. So those are some big numbers, and I'm excited to hear more about you, Brianne. And I'm going to mute everybody and I'll unmute you. Hang on one second. Okay. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, guys. Hi, everybody. Thanks for taking the time to come and listen to me talk for a little bit. So, I'll give you the very quick version of my story. I actually signed up to be a discount coach. I signed up in January of 2013. I was brought in by my mom, who had tried to get me to drink Shakeology. And at the time, we couldn't afford it. My husband had been out of work because he got hurt here at home. We were very, very deep in debt. And Shakeology was not a luxury that I could afford in any way, shape, or form. And I did buy a bag and realized how good I felt drinking it, like we all do. And I remember the bag coming to an end and being like, what am I going to do next? And my mom was like, she was brand new, and she was like, I think you can pay $40 and sign up to get the discount or something. So I was one of those people that signed up for $39.95 just to get the discount on Shakeology. I didn't know what challenge packs were. I didn't know that we had them. The only thing that I knew about Beachbody was P90X and Insanity. I didn't know anything else about the company. And that was it. I had signed up to drink Shakeology, and my mom had said to me, if you get 3 people to buy Shakeology from you, you make enough to pay for your shake. And I was like, I have like 500 Facebook friends. I could find 3 people to buy Shakeology from me. And that was really how I started my business. Was I realized if I got 3 people, I could drink my shake for free. If I got 3 more people, I could get my husband a bag of Shakeology every month for free. And at the time, he was overweight. He's since lost 45 pounds thanks to Shakeology and the reset. And he's kept it off for 2 years. So I'm very proud of him. And that was it. And I was like, wow, if I get 3 more, he can drink it. If I get 3 more, then I make $100. And for me, that, $90 that we made was really like a game changer. I mean, that was really gas for my car for the month. And that was really the basis of how I started. I really just shared Shakeology. I didn't know, my mom was brand new. She didn't know that there was training. I didn't know that I had a Star Diamond upline that I could go to. So I learned the majority of my business off of Google, the Shakeology YouTube channel, and Jimmy Nelson's YouTube channel. That was where I learned most of my business from. I just started Googling stuff and figured this is kind of how people get started. I didn't know that I had a Star Diamond upline that I could go to. And once I did find the back office and I saw kind of like success stories of, coaches like Mike Ryan and Brigitte Linford and Christina Delgado, in that success stories part in the back office, I realized, this is exactly where I need to be. This is the opportunity that's going to kind of check yes to everything that I'm looking for, because these people are just like me. They're stay-at-home moms, or they're people who just, had something really crappy happen that kind of threw them all off course, and look at what this business was able to do for them. And from that point on, I just jumped right in. That was like the end of February. So come March, I jumped right in. And that was it. I hit Success Club and really kind of never looked back. And I think coming from where I was and how I started, my mindset was super important. I didn't have training, and I didn't have a coach that was kind of explaining to me what I had to do step by step. And when I got to Diamond, I kind of froze, which I think a lot of coaches do. I kind of sat there and I was like, okay, I don't know what to do now. Where do I go from here? Now I have to help my coaches get to Diamond. And that was something that was really difficult for me, because I'm somebody who, if I just set a goal, I'll just figure out a way to get there. Regardless of the help that I have or that I don't have. I have that, kind of motivation within me to just say, I'm going to go do this and go do it. And not everybody operates that way. And there's no good way or bad way to operate or anything. I just couldn't relate to the coaches on my team who didn't operate that way. So for me, it really started to do a number on me personally. I clearly was not doing personal development, even though I probably needed it the most. And I think that's what we always say is that, those who don't do it or say that they don't need it are usually the ones who need it the most. Because when you step back and you look at the behaviors that we talk about, the 3 vital behaviors, there's 3 of them for a reason. And it's kind of like, we take our vital signs, we take our blood pressure, we take our heart rate, we take, our pulse and things like that. And those are vital to keep us alive. And all 3 of those behaviors are really vital to keeping our business alive. I always kind of liken them to my new coaches. It's like a 3-legged stool. So if you kick one of those legs out, your business just falls. And you really need all 3 of them to really work together to make sure that you really give your business the best chance to be successful, that you give yourself the best chance to be successful. So what I really had to go through was a really big mindset shift. I had to really sit down and look at myself and say, what's going on here? What's going on with me that I'm having trouble being a leader, that I'm having trouble mentoring my coaches. And it wasn't what are they not doing? It was what was I doing wrong? And there was a laundry list of things that I was doing wrong. I was clearly in the wrong mindset. So that's really what I want to talk about tonight, because I feel like when we kind of have that mindset shift and it all starts to click for us, and it's something that you really can't appreciate until 6 months after it happens. For me, it was, the end of the year last year, as we were all pushing for elite, those, Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve kind of being so crazy, in the last couple of weeks of the culmination of an entire year's work. I was Diamond for almost a year before I got to 1-star. And it was within that year that mind shift really took place. It took me a good 6 months after I was Diamond to figure out that there was something I was doing wrong, and really how to fix it. And once I was able to do that, and I was able to figure out where I needed to improve me, my business just exploded. I was a Diamond when we went on the cruise in March. I was a 1-star at Summit in June last year. And I was 5-star by the time I got to leadership in September last year. And I attribute that to being in the right mindset. Obviously you work hard. But if my head was not in the right place, those pieces would not have fallen into place like they did. So I do want to share my screen. I have to pull this up first though. To just show you guys kind of this, the steps that I went through and really what it took for me to, really kind of get to that point, and what I realized along the way. So I should have had this pulled up. Okay. Can you guys see my screen? Yeah. Okay. So the first thing that I had to do, like I said, is I had to get real with me. I had to really sit down and I had to say, what are 5 things that I'm really doing right in my business? I'm a really good recruiter. I am able to really kind of help my coaches harness their why, which is part of this. But what were 5 things that I really was not very good at? I wasn't very good at being a leader. And a lot of it was the comparison game that I was stuck in. A lot of it was, if you guys have read The Energy Bus, a lot of it was that kind of mindset. All these bad things are happening to me and everybody else is having success and I'm not. And that just drags everybody down. It drags everything down. So the first thing is when I have new coaches come on, we always talk about this, identify your why, what's your why, what's your why, what's your why. And for me, it was really important that I really drilled all the way down into their why. And the way that we do that is I deal with the 5 whys. So we really kind of drill down into it. So if somebody said to me, what's your why in this business? I want to bring my husband home. Well, why do you want to do that? Because for the last 10 years, he's worked 70 hours a week and we've got kids and we want him around. Well, why? Well, 1, because it sucks. And 2, because my dad worked all the time when I was a kid and it sucked. He wasn't really ever around. Why? Because my goal is to make memories and have these memories while my kids are little and really be a full-time family. And is your why powerful? Here's where this really comes into play. And this is something that I think we all deal with as leaders. Sometimes we deal with it within ourselves too, is really getting real with yourself. Does it drive you? Is it strong enough to really shape your mindset? Is it strong enough that that's what keeps you up at night? That's what gets you up early. That's what keeps you pushing through the slow months like we're in right now. And a lot of times, we hear coaches say, my goal is to get to diamond, or my goal is to get to 2-star, or my goal is to make, be a 6-figure earner. And a lot of times we have to have that reality check and say, you know what, your why, your behaviors aren't matching your why. So we need to either readdress that why, or we need to sit down and really kind of go over your behaviors so that we can get you on the right path to getting to that why, to getting you closer to those goals that you've set for yourself. Make sure that it is strong enough to shape your mindset. Make sure that that's what drives you. Behind me is my all my bajillion whiteboards. And I've got pictures of my kids and a picture of my husband and my daughter and my friend who passed away last year. But this is my why, because I want them with me every day. My husband walked in the door 20 minutes ago, and it's 9:00 here on the East Coast. So, and he has to go back out to work. So, you really want to make sure that whatever your why is, it's strong enough to shape your mindset. And on the other side of that, if there's coaches on the call that your goal is to make $500 a month or $1,000 a month, own that goal. There is no shame in saying, you know what, I am a hobby coach. I am happy where I'm at. I'm earning what I want to earn. I may not be a 6-figure earner, but you're happy with what you're earning. That's great. There is no pressure in this business that says you have to work this full time, that says that you have to do this, you have to do that. If you're somebody who's happy making enough just to cover your Shakeology, and if you get yourself an extra $50 during that month, that's great. More power to you. But own those goals and don't be ashamed of them just because there's people like me or like Lindsay or anybody else on this call who does this full time. And this is, our livelihood. And if you have a full-time job that you love, that's amazing. All we want in this business is for people to pursue their passion, whatever it may be, whether it's with Beachbody or it's somewhere else. And Beachbody kind of just fills that extra little need that they have to help others in a different sort of way. So make sure that you are confident in whatever you choose your why to be, I think is really important. So when I kind of talk with my coaches, for me, there's 2 different types of mindsets. And the first is a fixed mindset. So how do people react when they're in fixed mindsets? Well, they avoid challenges. We're in team cup month. Maybe you signed up for the cup. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you were worried that you would quote unquote drag your team down. Maybe you were worried that you wouldn't have Success Club points. Maybe somebody says, I'm going to do a Diamond Dash group. Let's all try to push and get to Diamond by this date. And you're like, I don't think I can do it. I'm not going to join. Instead of taking the challenge and saying, you know what, let's try. The worst that's going to happen is I miss my goal. But you know what, guys, I've got a dream board up here. There's like 30 things on there. I think I checked off one so far this year. You always want to set your standards high, because if you set your standards and you pick 5 goals for the year and you hit all 5, when the end of the year comes, you're going to be pissed that you didn't set higher goals. So we always want to set those standards really high. Do you give up easily? It's the 25th of the month. If you haven't hit Success Club yet, are you pushing or are you giving up? I've seen coaches go from 0 points on the 29th to 10 points on the last day of the month. Don't give up. Don't throw in the towel. We always talk about don't give up 5 seconds before that miracle happens, because you never, ever know. But if you're in that mindset, you're going to say, you know what? You're going to see your effort as fruitless. You're going to say, you know what? I'm not going to try. I'm probably not going to get there. And I'd rather do nothing than end the month with 4 points. Well, if it's 4 points, then it's 4 points more than you have today. They ignore useful negative feedback, or what we would call constructive criticism. If one of you has a post up and, maybe Lindsay sees it and she's like, I posted something like that really similar when I first started, and it really tanked. The post really tanked for me. Maybe try putting this sort of spin on it. If you're like, whatever, she hates me, she thinks I suck, she doesn't want to help me, she just wants to beat me down. When people are trying to just be constructive and help you. And, that's what we want to do as leaders, is teach you, because we have failed so many times that we can't even count. So if we can offer one piece of advice to help make one conversation you may have with a prospect slightly easier. I don't know about Lindsay. I'm very outspoken. I will always offer that advice. Feeling threatened by the success of others. This is hard. And this is something that was very difficult for me. I signed up at the same week as 2 of the top 10 coaches. And you know what? I think in this business, it's in our nature to compare. And it's one thing to be frustrated by it or say, you know what, they can do it. Use that to empower you. Don't be mad that they reach those goals. See that as proof that it's possible. That somebody who's been in this business just as long as you, or less time than you, that they can achieve these goals means it's possible for you. So always try to make sure that, not that you have to beat down their door and write all over their wall and tell them how excited you are for them, but don't let yourself feel bad about other people reaching goals. It's just not your journey. It's their journey, and it's just not the time for you to reach those goals yet, and you'll get there. If you keep doing whatever you're doing to get you to where you are now, you'll get there. Blaming others for your lack of success, saying, my upline stuck me on a dead inside leg. I'm on a dead inside leg. It takes a little longer to build. It takes a little longer for your volume to grow, but you've got the same opportunity as everybody else to be successful in this business. Blaming your upline for not having training for you. Blaming your upline, saying they stuck me on an inside leg and I don't get the volume of a power leg. Blaming your downline. My coaches suck. They won't get to diamond, and then I can't rank up to 2-star. I can't rank up to 5-star. I want to push for 10-star. And my coaches aren't getting there. So, they're hurting me. That's not where we want to be. Look at yourself as a leader. If your downline is having trouble reaching those goals, take a look in the mirror, because they probably need your help. And offer that to them. Sometimes there's coaches that no matter what we do to reach out and help them, they're stuck. And that's their issue. That's their mindset, that they have to have that shift to get there. And I think the same thing is true with emeralds when you want to push for diamond. You really have to have that belief that you can do it. Because diamond in itself on paper is not a difficult rank to achieve. And 90% of the struggle, I feel like, in hitting diamond is somebody thinking that they can't do it. And when you stop thinking that, that's when all this magic kind of starts to happen. I tell my coaches that the only thing that's holding you back is your belief that there's something that's holding you back. Because as soon as you allow yourself to believe that it's possible, all these amazing things start to happen. The law of attraction is a very real and very powerful thing. And if you put that positivity out there, that's what you're going to attract. Those are the kind of people that are going to gravitate towards you because they want to be part of your business. And if you put that crappy Eeyore kind of energy out there, as I like to call it, that's what you're going to attract. You're going to attract, people that don't want to pay for Shakeology. You're going to attract coaches who say they want to work but aren't quality coaches. That's just how, the law of attraction works. Looking at the short-term loss versus a long-term gain. This is something that I see a lot, and it's very common in newer coaches, and I get it. You hustle in the beginning, and it's really hard to get your first few customers, and you get excited when you have people who say, I'm going to sign up as a coach, or I'm going to buy a challenge pack, and follow up with me on Friday. And then Thursday they message you and they say, my husband wrecked the car, or my kid fell and had to go to the emergency room. Something happened, and that money that they had earmarked for their challenge pack is now gone. They're not gone forever. So instead of saying, let me put you in my free group until you can save up enough cash again to buy your pack. We can get you started with accountability. I can help you in this sort of way, for 2 or 3 weeks or 30 days or whatever, until you can save up that $150 or whatever again. And instead you're saying, son of a bitch, there go those 2 Success Club points. The minute we start to look at people with a Success Club point stamped on their head or a $sign stamped on their head is really the minute we have honestly kind of failed in this business. Because we're in a business of helping people, and we need to realize that whether they can afford it at this moment, they're ready now. And it's up to us whenever they're ready to help them however we can. And that may be that they have to sit in one of our free groups for 30 or 60 or 90 days before they come up with that money to buy that challenge pack. But I assure you, if you do those things and you look at the long-term gain, your business will be so much better down the road for it. I promise. I have diamonds who did free groups with me for almost a year, 9-10 months before they signed up as coaches. And then they finally signed up, and because they knew that they could count on me, they took off and they hit the ground running because they knew what the expectation was of them. Because they saw my other coaches that were in these groups with me. They saw that. They saw how the team worked together. They saw that kind of camaraderie. So always really look at the long term. Don't look at the next 3 days. Look at 30 days down the road, 60 days down the road. What are you going to do to make better choices for your business? And that brings me to kind of shifting into the growth mindset. This is where all the magic happens. We always talk about nothing good happens inside of our comfort zone, and we have to always kind of face our fears to really be able to be successful in this business. So we embrace challenges. If you have coaches who want to make a dash to diamond, hop in with them. Jump in. Do as much as you can. Get as far as you can. Persist in the face of setbacks. When you have people telling you no constantly, don't give up. Don't give up. Think about how long it took you to say yes to this opportunity, or how long it took you to say yes to a challenge group. And then remember that if it took you 6 months to say yes, you may have people it takes 6 months to say yes. You may have people that it takes them a year to say yes to you. See your effort as the path to mastery. So this kind of goes in line with the setback. So we know we're in August. August is notoriously slow. I feel like this August is a little slower than last August, to be very honest with you guys. Don't stop, because, and this is a little off topic, but I feel like in the midst of this whole growth talk, this is very important. Don't stop. Those of you guys who are on the call tonight, it's a slow month. And the fact that you guys are on the call, that you're driving your business, that you're working your business, shows that you are serious about this business. So don't slow down, because here's what's going to happen. If you guys, and especially if there's any new coaches on the call tonight, 30, 60, 90 days and new coaches on the call tonight. If you can push through this month and you can hit Success Club now when it's really, really, really hard, think of what your business is going to do in 3 months when it's easy again. This is the hardest time of the year. And if you're a new coach and you've already hit Success Club and you're rocking it, you are going to be set. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. So if you have to invite, 30 people a week to hit Success Club 5 at the end of the month, and during the month of August, it's really slow for you and you have to invite 50 people a week to get to Success Club 5 at the end of the month, that 50 a week is going to become your new normal. So if you're inviting 50 a week now, when it's really slow to get 5 points a month, in 3 months, when we're crazy busy and Hammer and Chisel is releasing and we've got Christmas, we've got the Black Friday sale, and we've got Christmas and we've got New Year's resolutions, and you're still inviting 50 people a week because you stepped it up now, forget 5 points. You guys are going to be the ones with 10, 15, 20, 30 Success Club points because you made this your new normal. Persist and see this effort as the path to be successful. Because I can tell you, my coaches that pushed at this time of the year last year, the ones that stayed engaged, because it's slow. So people are giving up. People are throwing in the towel and they're saying, kids are going back to school. I don't want to be bothered by it. I have too much going on. They're not posting. But if you are and you're consistent, then when somebody in 3 months is ready to make their New Year's resolution, they're going to say, eek, I don't know if so-and-so is even a Beachbody coach anymore. I haven't seen them post, but I know that Lindsay is. So I'm going to reach out to Lindsay. Stay in front of everything now. This is the slowest time, but it is also the most critical time. I feel like I can't drive that fact home enough to you guys. Learn from your constructive criticism. Please do not ever take things that we tell you personally. We are here to help you and we want to help you. And when we're constructive, it's because we see that you have the potential to be a rock star coach in this business. We see that you know what to do, that sometimes, like all of us, we're not perfect. And sometimes things just need a little tweak or two to go from kind of flatlined to super successful. Find lessons and inspiration in the success of others. Use other coaches' successes to drive you and let you see what's possible in this business. For me, when I started, it was coaches that had been very seasoned coaches posting their income and my jaw literally hitting the desk and saying that kind of income can't be possible. It is possible. I've seen it. Am I there yet? Hell no, not even close. But you know what? I know that it's possible, and I let it drive me instead of saying, well, they signed up the same time as I am and they're making 3 times the money that I'm making. What am I doing wrong? It's holy crap. They're making 3 times the money that I'm making. Now I know that that's possible. So now I have to go and chase that. Let it inspire you and let it drive you. Don't let it deter you and kind of drive you into the ground. Understand that you don't know it all and be teachable. We never stop learning. We never know everything. And the minute we say that we know everything is the minute that our business will flatline. It's really important that we're always teachable, that we're always learning. If you find something that will be helpful for your team, share it with them. Empower others. Shout out for recognition. If you have a brand new coach that sells their first challenge pack, shout them out. That first sale is a hard one to make, especially when you've been told no a bajillion times. Shout out your coaches when they sign up their first coach. We always shout them out we always shout out coaches for rank advancements, for Success Club All-Stars, for success starters and things like that. But I think it's important that we celebrate the little victories too. If you see a coach on your team who's new and she's got some really great stuff she's posting, give her props for that. I had a coach who took 6 months to get to Emerald. took her forever to get to emerald, took her forever to get to diamond, but she was somebody, she had the best attitude out of anybody on my team. And in the midst of everybody advancing past her to emerald, past her to diamond, one of my diamonds actually said, you know what? We don't ever shout this girl out. She has a great attitude. She never complains. She never whines. She's always helpful to everybody. And I really just wanted to give her a shout out because I think that she is just so inspiring because she really never gives up and she never complains about her business being slow. And that was all this girl needed. 6 weeks later, she was diamond. Don't ask me how she did it. She just kind of woke up one day and was like, you know what? Now I'm going to go do it. And she went and did it. Add value to others. So if you see things that are useful, if you find something on YouTube that's really helpful, share it with your team. Guys, there's a reason that all of us leaders that are not financially connected, that are not on the same team, there's a reason that we all trade these calls. There is more than enough business to go around. There's more than enough people to go around. Unfortunately, there is a horrible obesity epidemic in this country, and there are more than enough customers and coaches to go around. And I like this shift that the wall has taken, where we all kind of do come together and trade these calls because we're all adding value. Lindsay did a great call for my team last night on attraction marketing, and my page blew up after the call. They were like, this was so great. Can you load the replay? Blah, blah, blah. And I went to bed. So it wasn't up on YouTube. And I had coaches messaging me this morning looking for the recording because they were so mad that they missed it. And I think we all realize that when we all collaborate and we work together, it's not competitive, it's collaboration. And something that Julie Voris has always preached has really stuck with me. She always likes to say, a rising tide lifts all ships. And when we all work better together, when the leaders of this network can come together and help each other's teams and add value, we're all better for it because we're sharing that information. There's no power in keeping information like this to yourself. There's no power in saying, oh, I figured out this great Facebook post, but I'm not going to share it with anybody. Because it's what I'm going to use to attract people. You know what? It's going to be a really lonely business for you then. And that's not going to last forever. But when you put that good out there, that's what's going to come back to you. Because one day someone's going to say, you know what? They sent me that really good post to use, and I really got a lot of traction from it. I should offer to help them with this. And maybe they're going to find something that you struggle with and be able to help you. And we all have the fear, but act anyway. Act in spite of the fear, because it's only by pushing through the fear that the magic really happens in our business. We talk about this being direct sales or network marketing or multi-level marketing or multi-level helping, as Carl would call it. But, it comes down to the fact that even if you do want to classify us as one of these businesses, we're so different than the other companies, whether they're beauty companies or health companies or any kind of network marketing companies, because we are a business that's based on our story. And sharing your story is really, it can be a scary thing, especially for new coaches. It's the most vulnerable parts of ourselves at the most vulnerable points in our life. It took me a long time to tell my story without crying, because it's those really, really vulnerable parts of ourselves when we feel like we were at our breaking point or at our worst. When we found the coaching opportunity, or we found Shakeology, or we found a coach to help us with a challenge group. And being able to tell your story in spite of being afraid to share it, it will inspire somebody. And that's where that ripple effect comes in. For all of you, and I have my screen shared so I can't see all of you, but just think to yourself, if you're on the call tonight and you were brought in by Lindsay, and Lindsay, I don't know who your sponsor is, but what would happen if one day Lindsay's sponsor decided she wasn't going to invite? Where would you all be? And if the day Lindsay invited you, what if she woke up that morning and she was like, you know what? I don't feel like working my Beachbody business today. I'm going to go do something else. Where would you all be if Lindsay didn't say yes to this opportunity? Where would you all be today? So just sit back and think about that a second. And when you have that fear, just remember that we have the power to change people's lives and to change them in a really profound way that can alter the entire course of their lives for the better. So when you think about that, don't be afraid to share your story. Don't be afraid to invite. Be afraid of not changing somebody's life by not inviting for one day, because you never, ever know whose life you can touch that's going to make a difference. You could decide not to invite and skip over the next absolute rock star that this network has seen. But you also could skip over somebody who has been struggling with morbid obesity for years, and they end up being, 2 people removed from you. And because you decided not to invite, they don't get the help that they need. So I kind of like to title in after that, your belief goes hand in hand with this mindset. You can have this positive mindset all you want, but you have to believe in yourself. Do you believe that you're any of these qualities, whether you feel like you're in a fixed mindset or you feel like you're in a growth mindset? Why do you think that about yourself? Write it down. What do you feel like you want to change? How are you going to change that? How are you going to get yourself out of that mindset? Are you going to change the way that you're inviting? Are you going to change the kind of personal development that you're doing? Are you going to fight the fear and invite a little more? How are you going to believe in yourself? Because you can say that you're in this growth mindset all you want, and you can be happy for people that are rank advancing. You can be happy for new coaches that are coming on, hitting Success Club. You could say, I'm going to dash to diamond. I'm going to join the group and I'm going to try my hardest. But until you can actually believe, truly believe that within yourself, that mindset really won't grow. You have to truly believe that within yourself and know that anything is possible for you if you really believe that you can do it. So how do we tie these into the behaviors? Consistency in our inviting. It's really important that we let people know that we aren't going anywhere. And this is important for so many reasons. And it comes down to trust. One of my favorite personal development books is The Speed of Trust by Stephen Covey. If you haven't read it, it's brilliant. I recommend that anybody who really wants to be a leader in this business read the book. But it's great for coaches that may be struggling with running challenge groups. Let them know that you're not going anywhere. These people are saying yes to us when they really need help. They need the support. They need what we offer as a company, and they need what we offer as coaches. And we do them such a disservice by selling them a challenge pack or setting them up as a coach and disappearing. And if they sign up, they're trusting you to help them on their journey. They're trusting you to walk them through their program. They're trusting you. You don't have to be on call 24/7, but they're trusting you to be there to help them through this program because they're probably going to have some difficulty with it. Be proof the products works. And we talked about this. Share your story, even if it's scary. These are the most vulnerable parts of ourselves. Don't just post a picture of your shake. Don't post a picture of a bag of Shakeology. Share why you love Shakeology. Share what it's done for you and what it's done for your life. I was fortunate enough to never be somebody who struggled with my weight, but I struggled with being healthy. And I have genetically very high cholesterol. So I shared that once I started drinking Shakeology, my cholesterol dropped 50 points. That was huge for me. I didn't have a weight loss transformation, but my husband did. Shakeology and the Ultimate Reset helped him lose 45 pounds in 10 weeks. And he's kept it off. Share what it's done for you. I love that Shakeology gives me the energy that I need, that I know no matter what kind of food choices I may make during the day, it's the hell I make one really good healthy choice for myself each day. Share what the workouts have done for you. You don't have to have a 100-pound weight loss story to be to really kind of influence people. Just the fact that you want to set a healthy example for your family, or you hope that a family member will see it and make the choice to get healthy. Do your personal development, especially when you don't want to. So this also comes in to make sure that you're doing the right kind of personal development. If you feel like you're struggling with your mindset, if you feel like you're struggling with self-doubt, don't read GoPro. GoPro is a great book, but if you're struggling with your head and your mindset, don't read a business book. Read something like The Magic of Thinking Big. At the same time, if you're a brand new coach and you want to learn more about network marketing, don't go read Dave Ramsey's Total Money Makeover. You want to make sure that you're doing the right kind of personal development for yourself. So these are some apps that I use, that I love, and kind of what I do. So I use the Spirit Junkie app, which is by Gabrielle Bernstein. And it's just like a little inspiration in the morning. I get up, I check the app, and it's just like a little inspirational thought, for the day to kind of put you in that right mindset. The same thing with The Secret app. If any of you have read The Secret, it's a great book. I highly recommend everybody read that too. But these are for the iPhone, by the way, so I don't know if they're on the Android. So The Secret app is great. You can download it, and it's 365 days, and the day one is whenever you download it. And if you miss a few days, you can go back and kind of set the little day timer back on it and pick up where you left off. Audible, of course, personal development audio books. This is my favorite thing that I have on my phone because I'm always on the go. So I know I always have something that's going to be really feeding my brain with whatever I may need. I probably have 10 half finished books on there. And it just kind of depends what kind of mood I feel like I'm in. Make sure that we're doing the right kind of personal development. I touched on this. And affirmations. I'm looking for my affirmation drum in my office, and I don't think I have it down here. I think it's upstairs. So that was really it. Let me stop this share. So I use an affirmation journal, and it's just a regular notebook that I got from Target or Staples or something. But in it, there's daily affirmations. And if you're somebody who really believes in the law of attraction and the power of positive thinking, it really is very powerful. And it's something that was recommended to me by another leader. And it really has proved to be such a great thing for me. So when I get up in the morning, I take out my journal, and I write down 3 things that I'm grateful for right now. 3 things that I'm grateful for, today when I wake up in the morning, whether it's, my kids are healthy, or, my husband is healthy, or like, I like my life, I'm happy. Simple things like that. Or I had a great day yesterday, my business grew, or we added coaches, things like that. Then I write down 3 things that I'm grateful for in the future. And that could be, I'm happy that I have my husband home every day to kind of help me out with the kids. Or I'm happy that we have been able to pay off our mortgage. Things that I'm grateful for that I want to come to fruition in my life. And then I write down 5 affirmations for the day. Whether it's I'm a leader amongst leaders, or I feel like I lead my team with my heart, and I feel like I work with integrity. And it's fun to write all this down and then look back a few months later and see the things that you wrote down a few months ago are starting to come true. So that all kind of ties in with your mindset and with the power of positive thinking, and things like that. I was looking. Oh yeah, The Speed of Trust. It's by Stephen Covey. I don't know which the father or the son, but it's one of them. It's called The Speed of Trust, the one thing that changes everything. And for me, it was a real game changer, and it really helps you to understand why we only work with a percentage of our team. We talk a lot about the Pareto principle, which is that 20% of your team is going to give you 80% of your results. And it really kind of explains to us why we divide our time that way, why we dedicate certain time to certain coaches that we know will give us the results, that we know we can count on, we know we have that trust with them. Which again, all ties back into being in the right mindset and having your coaches in that mindset too, that they know that there's somebody counting on them too, that we want them to be successful. Does anybody have any questions? Sorry, I just kind of like rambled for like 40 minutes straight.
That was awesome.
Oh, thanks.
If you guys have any questions, you can either unmute yourself or you can ask in the chat box. But yeah, that was really, really awesome. I loved all of it. Like, I just love, like, I was thinking about, when we were talking about, I know.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Yeah. I think mindset is so important with this business.
Yeah, it really is. And it can really be a big roadblock. And I can tell you that I really had kind of this little breakthrough. It was my first year as a coach. I was maybe 8 months in and I was a diamond and I was getting the elite emails and I was pretty high in the points. I had a decent amount of points in. Had I had the diamonds, I probably could have made a run my first year for either premier or elite if I had the diamonds, because I knew if I pushed, I could have gotten the points. But I was in a really shitty mindset. I was like, these coaches aren't getting to diamond and I got to diamond and nobody helped me. So if I'm here to help them, why can't they do that? And I was in a really, really bad place. And when I look back at myself now, I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? I don't even know how people signed up with me. And I kind of think we all have that. If you go back and you look at your private messages when you first signed up and you're like, how did these people even say yes to me? These invites are terrible. But that was really it. And I really had to kind of step back and say, hold up here. Like, I don't think the problem is them. I think that the problem is me. And Christy Curtis is a dear, dear friend of mine. And she was the one who recommended that I read The Speed of Trust. And her and I had been talking. And, when I was kind of going through this, at the end of my first year, in 2013, and she was like, you got to get your head on straight because this is not going to work. You are not going to be successful if you continue to have this. And you got to go read this book. You got to go do this, and you got to get your shit together. And she's like, I will help you, but you have to let me help you. So, that to me was a really big thing. So I read that book. I really kind of understood it. And I read, Becoming a Person of Influence by John Maxwell. It's a great book on leadership. I'm doing the 21 Laws of Leadership workbook right now, with my diamonds, which is another John Maxwell. I'm a big John Maxwell fan. My other recommendations for PD from mindset. So that's kind of tough because I feel like mindset is a really broad kind of topic that people can kind of go back and forth on. My personal recommendations are usually a lot different than what other coaches may recommend. I don't do well with, like, I don't want to say foo-foo, but I don't do well with like rah-rah cheerleader kind of books. I do better with really meaty books that will give me an outline of like boom, 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 boom. Here's what you got to do. So the 15 Laws of Growth by John Maxwell is one of my absolute favorites. I have the hardcover. I have it on audio. I listen to it probably every other month or so. The Art of Exceptional Living by Jim Rohn. I feel like everybody should read that book. It's a great book on just how to live your life. Really touches on everything that we kind of go through as coaches. The Energy Bus, if you haven't read it, or whoever's saying they like humor or a good storyline, The Energy Bus is a great one. It's really short. If you listen to it, it's like 3 hours. I didn't want to get out of the car. I wanted to just finish the book. I don't know if you've read it, Lindsay. It's really short. It's a really good book. I recommend that everybody read it. If you're somebody who struggles with self-doubt, The Magic of Thinking Big by David O. Schwartz is probably the best book that's out for something like that. But yeah, I read a lot of John Maxwell. Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek is another great book on leadership. But for mindset, I'm like just looking to see what's on my shelf here.
I feel like the Energy Bus is good for mindset for sure. We all have listened or read it, and we kind of have a joke about, are you getting on my bus, or are you and then,
but it's very true, because that really is what's going to drive your tribe, is if you have people who are on board with you at whatever speed you may be going at, then that's great. But if you have those people that are going to fight you every step of the way, you have to just say, you know what, I'm here when you're ready. Because they'll drag you down, and then it drags your team down, or it drags your mindset down. And whether you think you're good at faking it on Facebook or not, when you feel crappy like that, people sense it. They sense it everywhere because you'll try too hard in your post and people will sense that you're coming off forced. So you got to just keep it positive.
Yeah. I also think, I like for mindset, if you guys, don't mind like language and stuff, I feel like you're a badass is pretty good, for confident, boosting and belief really help you to be like, yes, I can do this. I'm no different from anybody else. I'm my own me,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she does a really good job in that book. Although, I also think The Magic of Thinking Big is really good for that too. So
yeah, it is. And if you have, whoever said they like a good storyline, I don't know who that was. If you've read the book Girl Boss by Sophia Amoruso, that's more like humor than personal development. It's definitely not a book for really self-doubt or mindset. It's really her story. But it's very powerful, and it's really just proof that if you believe something and you really have a passion, you can do absolutely anything in this world. So it was a great book for me. I listened to it at the gym when I really felt like I couldn't completely focus on something, but I needed, to be listening to something instead of music. It's a really good book. If you're somebody who kind of wants a little bit of a storyline with a little bit of like girl power, it's definitely a good book. Pick it up.
awesome. You guys have any other questions? Mindset is like number one to how you guys go from, point A to point B, point Z.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And once you have that shift, you don't really notice it when it's happening. And all of a sudden you're like, holy crap, now I'm here. And look what I did to get myself there. And it's empowering, and it's nice to see and look back on and say, you know what? Like I knew I could do it. And you wonder why you doubted yourself. So if you're doubting yourself now, don't, because it's just holding you back from really whatever greatness that you are searching for.
So good. Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, I recorded it too if you want the recording.
That would be great.
Wow, I appreciate you doing this and taking time to be with us tonight. That was great. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in San Diego.
Yeah, 40 days. I'm not counting, I promise. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to get out there and, see everybody. It's like, we have our little Facebook groups, and, so when we all get together, it's nice to see everybody for a few days.
Yeah, so, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I got everyone just loved it.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
So yeah, and everyone have a great night, and we'll see you guys in the page, and I'll get the recording out, and have a great night.
All right. Thanks guys. Bye.